Did you see Dwayne Johnson has been cast as
I saw it in your story.
Martin Scorsese's lead?
Yeah.
Opinions on that?
All I thought when I saw it was like, how is this man getting himself into these like films?
Yeah.
And what has Martin Scorsese saw that no other single person on the rest of the planet has seen? Red One?
Well, maybe. He watches that every Christmas now.
I mean,
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
He's in one of the Safdie brothers. He's in like a movie that's coming out some point where he like plays a wrestler and he's like, it's meant to be like his big dramatic return
To wrestling.
to wrestling, truly, yeah. But like, has Scorsese seen that early and been like, yeah,
He's the guy. Yeah, maybe we've just not given The Rock like any good material to work with.
I mean, that is true. He has
Yeah.
been in dog shit movies, so
Yeah.
maybe he is.
He can actually act.
Who knows?
Oh my god.
I also think, I don't know if you saw Maya Hawke talking at some sort of conference, whatever, where she was talking about she doesn't like Instagram, and she was told by like her agent or something that she kind of needs to have one because now casting directors cast off of follower numbers.
Oh, I've heard people talk about that before, but like not her. Not specifically like that conference.
She just like came out and kind of was very transparent about it, and I wonder if that factors into The Rock, because I feel like Martin Scorsese is like on another level where he wouldn't have to do that kind of stuff, but The Rock has like 300 million followers that actually draws in people. Do you think there is an aspect of?
Yeah, I think it still counts. I mean, there's the whole thing of like there being like the Hollywood. I don't think there's a blacklist, but there's like a whitelist, right? Of like people that you should use.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think there's like all the people that are like in right now. I mean, if anyone, like Timothée Chalamet is on that list.
Sure.
Like just the hot shit. Cast them in this right now.
But he's also good.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But like, I think normally, I think normally people on that list are.
Okay. So The Rock's not on that list?
Okay, maybe that's not true because it's yeah. I swear I remember like Tarantino talking about this.
Oh, yeah. I see. He normally goes to these conferences and are like, what are movies now? A movie plays in a cinema for 40 days and then you can stream it up. Like, he's really against, I think, the industry as a whole.
But if anything, I think he would have had to try and like push back against that. I think he would have been like the person to do that, to try and like bring in people that he wants to actually be in the lead role.
Yeah.
And not like someone in the studio is like, you got to use them right now.
But it's odd because his last few movies have used massive people.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Plot to Go, episode number 9. This week, we are talking about the Oscar Best Picture nominees. We're going to rank them because we both love ranking stuff, don't we, Owen?
No, I don't like ranking things.
I'm Jack, by the way.
I don't have to introduce myself now. You just said my name. You've ruined it. I'm on.
I noticed we didn't introduce ourselves last week, and nobody would know our names if we didn't say.
Yeah. How would they?
Yeah, this is the last episode that's going to come out before the Oscars, so we thought we'd just round up. Oh, and also we saw I'm Still Here, so that review will be a part of our rankings because it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, I just realised we might not speak about it at the same time because we're going to get to that point. And we're probably going to go
differently.
Yeah, it's going to be... It'll be interesting to see how much these line up, though.
I'm interested as well because we don't have...
No, but our sections are the same.
Yeah.
So
Well, maybe, I don't know. I have said...
I know what your middle
like
section
3
is,
sections.
and then that is my middle section.
Interesting.
And then my bottom section is like fine film, bad film, films I haven't seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we'll ping pong, and then when we get to I'm Still Here the first time, we'll just
talk
about
about
it then. We will review Spider-Man, Your-Friendly Neighbourhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Spider-Man PS4.
Yes.
Yeah.
PS5.
This woke nonsense.
Yeah, that finished, and we've been reviewing it every week, so... And then we'll end with a question, of course.
Yeah.
Shall we just dive right in?
Yeah,
to the
please.
Oscars?
Please do.
What's your excitement level for the Oscars like?
Well, compared to last year,
Yeah.
not as high. Well, like last year, I mean, I had more time last year, so I remember just like binging films in a day, and was getting through like really good films that I missed. Like I remember being really excited for The Holdovers, and then watching it and still being excited about The Holdovers, and like Poor Things, I caught in the cinema, and that would have been like February last year, and I was like, oh, that it kind of blew me away.
Yeah.
And I've not had anything that shocked me as much as that this year, and I think that's because like there are like exceptional films still on this list, but I think it was just sort of left field. So like Poor Things, I remember hearing your review prior to seeing it, or like I normally try and avoid the reviews for the films that I've not seen. So I think I read like your first sentence or something, and it was like something about the world being like completely different, like its own thing, like so separate from ours. And I was like, I didn't quite believe that. And then I saw the film and I was like, oh, this thing is like completely different.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So like as a whole, if you were to look at the 10, you just had more excitement towards...
For the last year's, yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. And then, again, it's not even to say that there's not good films here.
No, there's some excellent films in this.
But yeah, I'd be more drawn to going back to the ones from previous years as well. Shall we just dive in then with our 10? And we're going to ping pong, yeah? But I'm assuming we have the...
Yeah.
You haven't seen 2 movies.
Yeah.
So do you want to just get them out of the way?
Sure. So I haven't seen Nickel Boys or The Substance.
Yeah.
I don't know where those would rank in my list. What I did say is that I think they'd kind of be like middling compared to some of the stuff on here, because there's some like fine and bad, and then there's some like really good. The Substance, I think, has like mixed opinions from people, because it's like, I think it's one of those films where really quickly it gained a lot of traction and general audience love it, I think. But I've heard from you and a couple of other people like they didn't enjoy it as much as what other people had essentially told them that they were going to enjoy it as much as that. So I feel like I would, but I don't know, because I don't know enough about the film. I know nothing about Nickel Boys.
Okay.
I did just see someone on Letterboxd give it like 4 stars out of 5, and I trust this guy's opinion. So like I feel like that would be like possibly number 5 on my list or something if I had seen it. Don't know.
They're interesting movies because some people they're both movies where some people adore them. Like so you might end up with them being your top. I don't know. The Substance and I guess I'll get them both when I get to it.
Why are you giving your opinion?
So we'll start with my 10 and your 8. This will be fun to go through.
Yeah.
To nobody's surprise, Dune Part 2.
Same.
Do you know what? Villeneuve didn't deserve any directing nominations for this. It was dog shit.
Yeah, no, awful. My ranking is just Emilia Perez, Dune Part 2. No, mine's is top as well. I mean, I did say to you before we started this, like my top 3 I think are kind of interchangeable for me because I loved all of them.
Yeah.
The thing that stands out for me about this film...
Wait, I thought we would go bottom up.
What do you mean? You said Dune.
Yeah, as a joke.
Oh, I didn't think we were going bottom up. I was going to go top down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You wouldn't leave on the suspense.
I mean, yeah, because mine's are like... Yeah, I'd rather do top.
Okay, do top down, because then it works numbers-wise. So
yeah.
1.
Yeah, number...
Oh, so we both have Dune.
Yeah. I've realised we're not working up to anything if we do this,
yeah.
But I think the more interesting films are the ones that we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Dune Part 2 is my top film.
It's the same.
For me, it's The Spectacle, I think. Because the other 2 that I would maybe put in its place are excellent pictures, but this one is like an experience, like an event film. And I think that's why it takes the spot for me.
Yeah. I saw it so many times in the cinema. Like, those movies that you're like, I kind of don't want to watch this at home. Which I actually feel about another film on this list, but specifically with this, it felt like a cinematic, like, event that wasn't, like proposed itself to be that. The other film on this list, I feel like, was like, you're going to an epic, the American epic. This, I know it had that surrounding it, but it also, I don't know, it also didn't. So that when I sat and was watching it, I was like blown away by it feeling like an epic, I guess.
I'm surprised that you didn't think about Dune Part 2 being an epic going into it.
No,
Having
I
seen
don't
the
know
first
why.
one in IMAX.
I know. I don't particularly know why I thought that way. I think it is a perfect blend of like blockbuster storytelling and indie, more character focused, like director led auteur filmmaking. That like it's just cool to see something on that large a scale, like have that blend of like a director's vision behind it. Like, when's the last blockbuster that came out that's been like fully singular in its vision, like not a studio, not like part of a wider universe or anything?
It's also just not trying to be like this big explosive like action film just because it's on the big screen.
Yeah, exactly.
It obviously has that, but I do think the Dune films managed to be slower, even though they're massive films. I do think, just on the point of like you don't want to watch this at home, I watched Dune Part 1 at home before watching this film, and I don't think it is the same experience sitting watching it like on your, I think I had to watch it on my laptop or something because the Wi-Fi was being a bit dodgy or something, so Skybox wasn't playing ball.
I don't think I watched the first Dune at home, actually, now that you bring that up.
Yeah, I don't want to watch Dune Part 2 at home, and it's in the cinema maybe today, but it's not on the IMAX screen.
Oh, what's the point?
Yeah.
Oh my god. That's, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic.
Yeah, 'cause when I went and saw Dune Part 2, I saw Dune Part 1 before in IMAX. There's just scenes in that movie as well that I think will stick with me. Like, if I'm thinking about the longevity of a lot of the films here, when I think back on 2025, or sorry, 2024 in movies, I'll think of, like, the arena scene.
I mean, that stuff must be kind of burned onto your retinas because you did see this film about 65 times in the cinema.
Well, okay. I think it was just 5. Which is nuts. It was just one of these things that, like, if somebody was going, I was like, I'm coming. I am going to come and watch it because I enjoyed it that much. I think the characters are super interesting as well. I think that always, like, I'm drawn more to that stuff, like when there's interesting stuff to like chew on with the characters. And in blockbusters, I feel like you rarely get that.
Yeah, they really like lit Zendaya shine in this film as well. Because the first one, I remember being so frustrated with her and the marketing and things.
Oh,
and all
sure,
those, like,
sure.
There's like 3 flash forwards with Zendaya in it, and then she's like in like 10 minutes at the end of the film, and you're just kind of like,
you want more, yeah.
Yeah, and we did get more, and it was fantastic. So
yeah, really new. The pair of them are just completely nuanced, and it's the world as well that he creates through characters. Like Rebecca Ferguson, I think, is phenomenal in both of them. But like where she goes in this movie, so interesting. And to say nothing of like how it looks, it just looks.
Yeah, I was talking about the arena scene yesterday, actually.
Really?
With the sun, like whitening
the
out.
black sun, yeah.
Now, do we? Because I feel like I have ruined the ordering of this list. Do we just work our way back up, or do we work our way down? It's up to you.
No, you go. It does make sense if we worked our way down, because then we both get to 8, and then I'd have 2.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Number 2. What's your number 2, Owen?
I put the Brutalist.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have much more to say on this film than what I said last time.
Oh, yeah, we have a review up for the... But you have a review up for
literally,
the
I've already spoken about this film a ton.
Why is it your number 2? What, like, keeps it from being number 1, I guess?
Because I think all of the 3 of these films are brilliant. The performances in The Brutalist are also fantastic. It's such an interesting story. I think it's just not spectacle, and I guess that does something for me. Yeah, I don't have much more to say than I said last time. Yeah.
Fair enough. Very fair. My number 2 is Anora, which I'm assuming will be your number 3.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming
crazy.
The Brutalist is then your
Crazy. Yeah. I think I think any ranking of like maybe 6 or 7 of these I could kind of see, but these 3 in particular I just think stand on their own above everything else. Anora, I've been a massive fan of Sean Baker's work prior, and to see him get like his flowers and like something like this big is so cool. I think as well, it's bigger than his other movies in the sense of like scale and location and story, I guess. It does not lose its intimacy or like, I guess, focus on character. Like you understand. I literally blanked on Mikey Madison's name in this movie. It's Anora. Oops. You really understand her as like a human being. Like I left that feeling like I'd been on a journey with her. Do you know, like you see so many facets of her emotions.
Yeah.
Throughout a like deeply comical movie as well.
It manages to like thread needle, is that the phrase?
Sure. Total line.
Yeah, total line. I was thinking about dancing on a knife edge. Is that the like?
Yeah.
It
Like
manages.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Jeez, we were talking about a good film when you brought that
I'm sorry.
absolute dog shit in here. That's really upset me. That film offended me, I think.
Yeah.
No, it manages to really dance between comedy and like real upset, real drama.
The way real life is, I feel like,
Yeah.
is like it's not completely serious and dramatic the entire time. I think another film on this list actually does that quite well, that shows like natural living,
Yes.
even in like sad dark times. Her performance is unbelievable. I desperately want her to win Best Actress. I'd like to see 2 people win Best Actress, but I think she's...
Let's go look at Best Actress now.
I can name them if you want.
No.
Okay. Wow. I'll get to it when I get to the substance, but like Demi Moore seems to be sweeping, and I amn't a massive fan of these legacy wins. I get it, because it's like you've been working in the industry for so long and people want to reward that. But I think far and away the work Mikey Madison does with this movie is nuts. And if you've seen her in any press, I've watched a few interviews with her, like I think she was on Graham Norton. She is so timid and like reserved. And the performance she gives in this is like a 180 of who she is in real life. And I find those performances far more impressive, I think, because you are really stretching yourself. She learned to pole dance for like 6 months or something. And then Sean Baker was like, by the way, the strip club that we've got doesn't have a pole. She was like, oh, cool. But like to appease her, they got a pole specifically for her to do 10 seconds. So she did 6 months of work for 10 seconds of the movie.
God.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Very concentrated 6 months right there.
Yeah. And I think the supporting cast around her is all great. Like, deeply comedic performances.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number 3 is The Brutalist. Shocker.
I'm not surprised by that.
This is one that I could see moving.
Down or up?
I don't know, just moving. It's been on my mind a lot lately.
Yeah, I know, like, I think I got left with, like, a certain feeling after it, because I kind of did want it to be top here. But it's just so difficult ranking some of these.
I think a slight issue that I have with it is this, like, presentation of an that is an epic, that has all these grand things to say. And I don't necessarily think it fulfills that. Like, it packs that punch at the end. So that's kind of where my thoughts have been around the movie lately, I guess. But it stayed in my mind, and it's still, like, it was a wonderful experiencing that in IMAX.
That was shot so nicely.
I was saying that when I watched the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Like, they have the little clips that come up before every movie. And Dune isn't nominated a ton. So it was like nominated for cinematography, and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. But The Brutalist was nominated for lots. So you saw multiple clips, and every single clip that comes up, I was like, fuck.
lighting,
Yeah.
the grain. Like I said, like when I was reviewing it, like I didn't like I don't normally like shaky cam and stuff, but you have that kind of like straight away in this film, but it's kind of used well and like subtle enough that you still know where you are.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times like shaky cam, you just have no idea what the hell is going on. Why is this being used? It's all about the decision making, people.
Yeah. That's your message to every cinematographer.
Yeah, like come on, guys. What message are you trying to convey? Earthquake.
I mean, that's where it really works now, isn't it? Yeah, there's images from that movie as well that'll just stay with me, and not even necessarily like grand images. Like, there's a moment where Laszlo, the main character in the movie, has built a library, and he just like opens the doors to the bookshelves, and it's just like this swelling of like light and the way it's shot and the way it's captured. And
I think that shot was really in my mind when I was speaking to you about it, but you hadn't seen it.
Interesting. Yeah, little bits like that. It's funny that aren't grand, but are like meaning. I feel like it's because you can feel it sounds odd to say, but like the emotion of the characters in the scene.
Yeah.
When they're talking about like brutalist architecture. It's also it's a love letter to brutalist architecture, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, because it gets forgotten about. I remember watching a podcast about a year ago that was just a guy talking about brutalist architecture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sorry, it doesn't get forgotten about. It gets remembered, but in a really awful way. Like we all kind of just
people
dog on
don't
it.
like it. Yeah.
Because to be fair, there's a lot of bad.
Yep.
But there's some really good brutalist architecture. There's the I can't remember what the building's called in London, and they use it in Andor. It's
I know exactly what you're on about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with brutalist architecture a lot of time is like if you introduce plants, it somehow makes it just work really nicely.
Huh.
If there's a lot like greenery,
Yeah,
to me,
you're
or
not
like
in a concrete
shrubbery,
jungle.
looks
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I was listening to Brady Corbet talk about how difficult it is to capture architecture, because he was like being interviewed. The people who were interviewing him were like, there aren't many movies about architecture. And actually, when I thought about it, I can only think of one other. And he was talking about, well, it's really hard to capture it because it's so static. Like, not only is it a building that's static, but like the way it's constructed feels static. So it's like hard to show the beauty of it. And I think that gave me like a newfound appreciation for, oh wow, the way you did capture this on film is stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a movie. Your number 4, sir?
I don't think I spoke about Anora.
Oh, you didn't? You're number
3.
3.
Not that I have much to say about it because you've been through all of it. I think we should just mention the actor in it, the guy that's essentially like the bodyguard looking after Mikey Madison and Anora.
Borisov.
Yeah, he's very good in that film. There's a lot of his acting is very, very nuanced. This character that's kind of you know who he's supposed to be. He's like the henchman, and normally they're quite placid, or you don't see a lot from them because you're not supposed to. But he manages to like do that and add in a lot at the same time.
Totally. Especially in that like back half hour.
Yeah.
Which is nice because you've seen him in a certain way, I think. And then when you rewatch it, you see, which I found it at least on a rewatch, the first 2/3, you see more nuance in his performance because you know where he ends up, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much. Very good performance. Sorry, you're number 4 then.
Conclave.
Ooh.
Jack played some of the theme just before we started this. Yeah, also very good. This was one that I probably would say that I was blown away by because I didn't know what I was going in for. And I just think it's really interesting to watch a film that, I mean, every film is about different perspectives, right? But like when they're like carefully constructed to be in such a way where like you're following like these characters and you think that you have like the right mindset around something, and then you're like, oh no, this guy's an asshole, and then it's just that for like an entire film. You're like, who's are we the baddies? Like who's the good guy? who am I rooting for here? And just seeing all like the backstabbing and betrayal. Spoilers.
The betrayal. Somebody gets stabbed. Is that what you have to say, Riggs? I'll get to it later.
shot well, score's great. Ray Fiennes.
Yeah.
I want to say Ranoff because that's an author, and they have very similar names.
Okay, he reads. Wow. I'm assuming you are going to say he's good at this.
Yeah, no, he's excellent. We love Voldemort.
Crazy that he like shapeshifts like that.
Yeah.
I saw a thing about. Sorry, this is such a tangent, but the new season of The White Lotus features Jason Isaacs. Not somebody whose face I know. Like, if you ask me who's this white guy, I wouldn't be like, oh, Jason Isaacs, of course. Because my mum thought it was John Hamm.
Who is Jason Isaacs?
So,
John Hamm.
He actually does look a little bit like John Hamm in The White Lotus, I will
Right.
say. I'll give her credit. Then I saw a TikTok, which was him as Lucius Malfoy, and it was a girl being like, yeah, you know what? Hannah Montana could exist because I had no fucking idea, and neither did I. I was actually like shocked by the information that he's Lucius Malfoy.
Wait. So when you saw him in like Sex Education, you weren't aware that
No.
he was Lucius Malfoy?
No.
Wow.
Yeah. Hannah Montana would have fooled me. Let me
That's
just
crazy.
tell you that.
Sorry, I don't know what else to say about the Conclave.
It's fine.
Just excellent performances, great script.
Probably will win for adapted screenplay, I'm thinking.
I can see that. I don't think there's anything here that stands out for me more than that.
Script-wise.
Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe we'll have a bit more of a conversation when I get to Conclave.
Sure.
My number 4 is I'm Still Here. Is it your number 5?
No.
Okay, well then I guess I'll just run away with this.
No, I mean, I feel like I should talk about this now because this is the film that we're here to talk about.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to say where it is on your list or just talk about it?
Yeah, I don't. This is funny. On my list is number 6.
Okay, nice, okay. I guess I'll actually properly intro this as a movie.
Yeah, we should probably go for that.
If you haven't heard of I'm Still Here, it is the last Best Picture nominee to come out in the UK. It's been out in other places. I don't know why we have to wait so long for some of these. Especially, there's a animated feature film that was animated at the BAFTAs as well that is not releasing until the end of March. I just don't understand that as Anyway.
Was that our distribution rant?
Sorry, that was
for
the
this
daily
podcast?
distribution rant, yeah. Once we get out of award season, I think it'll stop.
I don't know if it will. Yeah, no, maybe. We get like blockbusters.
We get
like,
blockbusters,
in time.
yeah. Oh, by the way, UK, maybe take this a few days early. There's schlop.
Yeah. Well, it didn't used to feel like that because when you used to watch like the Marvel movies when we were like 15, they used to be good.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, we get it before the Americans. By, like,
We
3
saw
days.
Guardians?
Yeah.
Get fucked.
We saw Civil War like 2 days before you.
That's so... yeah, I'm Still Here. It is a Brazilian movie. It's Brazil's entry for international feature at the Oscars, and it also earned itself a Best Picture nomination, which I think is the first time in history 2 international movies have made it in to the Best Picture lineup.
Wow.
This was a massive shock when this got nominated for Best Picture. People were not expecting this at all. It follows a family in the 1970s in military-occupied Brazil.
Yeah.
You are just a part of their family. What's the Paiva family?
Yeah, something like that.
You follow a mother and a father and their 5 kids, and it is just very much a normal slice of life family. I was going to say adventure, but it literally is just day to day. Then one day, their dad is taken from their home by police, and he doesn't return. He's taken for questioning, and they don't see him again. And the film kind of follows the family dealing with the fact that their dad hasn't returned back home.
Yeah. Another film that we've watched where it's dealing with loss in 2 weeks. Bridget Jones.
Oh, sure, yeah. I didn't equate these two, strangely enough. Do you want to give your thoughts on I'm Still Here?
Sure, I'll explain why it's at number 6.
Yeah, if you want, yeah.
I really enjoyed this film. I didn't love this film.
Okay.
I think we touched on it last night, but I didn't want to get into it. The film has more endings than Lord of the Rings. And I think because we realised as the film went on, and especially in the final moments of the film, that they were telling a real story.
Mm-hmm.
I think in an attempt to be accurate to real life, that it's a detriment to the film.
Mm.
Because they keep trying to like hit these beats of this is where they were then.
Mm.
And it meant that we were getting time jumps, which as I get older I'm increasingly disliking. They're starting to bother me more and more. And it means that you get to a point a couple of times in the film where you're like, this is a really good ending, which you did say last night.
Yeah.
And I had that a couple of times and then wasn't super happy with the actual ending that we got.
Sure, yeah.
And I do think that it really did affect my enjoyment of the film. Also, the film is like a very emotional one. There is like a lot of sorrow to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I felt it as deeply as you and our friend Samuel. Again,
shout out Samuel.
Shout out to Samuel, who needs to watch the podcast. But I don't think I felt things as deeply as you guys. I'm not really sure why. I think I think it is done intelligently, because me and Samuel were talking about the fact that it isn't a film where it tries to, I don't necessarily agree with what I'm about to say, but like tries to like dwell on the emotion, because it keeps on moving. I don't think there's a moment where there's dramatic music and like you're supposed to cry at this point. There's nothing like that. I do think it dwells a little bit on the like the loss aspect of it. There's a lot of like looking at photos and things, which works very well at some points in the film. Other times I think it is kind of dragged out. There's a little bit too much of it. It's a little bit like self-indulgent in this kind of like pain, which you understand why, because of the context of the film and the message it's trying to get across. But I think there's a tiny bit too much of that. So, and also I just, because of the nature of where we are and what is happening, I think I felt more angry than I did sad with what was happening to the family. And I don't necessarily know if that's what they were going for. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the film.
Interesting. Yeah, I have this higher than you. I understand what you're saying about the endings. I agree in a way. I mean, I said it to you last night.
Yeah.
Because the film in large part plays out in the 1970s, and then there are 2 time jumps that I actually thought the first time jump was going to be the like epilogue, kind of like how there is in The Brutalist, the like 5 minutes that's like, you know, there was some sort of resolution to what they went through in the 1970s. And I initially, because I like where it ends in the 1970s, I then got to this time jump and I like where that ends, and then it time jumps again. And I don't completely dislike it. Actually, doing a little bit of reading, there's a woman in that ending that's played by the main actress's mother. So that's who that woman is. And I think there's actually like ties. I think Brazil, like for Brazilians, the endings might work better because these people are known and there's like actual attachments or something. I don't know. But I do understand that like there was so many natural ending points that, not even just natural, but actually like beautiful ending points, that where it ends up, it was strange and it was servicing a real life story, which does become apparent I think about halfway through the movie. But you say that about a lot of movies. Like The Brutalist kind of feels like you're watching a real life movie.
Yes.
So like halfway through this I was like, is this real? But there are like proper indications, I feel like, that like give you hints that we're not making this up. But yeah, it does kind of mean it's detrimental to maybe the cohesiveness of
as
a narrative.
as a whole.
Yeah.
I think.
In saying that though, I had actually adored this. The first half an hour, kind of what I was saying with the plot synopsis, you just live with the family.
Mm-hmm.
There's this beautiful like flowing camera that just follows like each of the kids. I just love the first 10 minutes where it really just dots about random people and you're like immersing yourself in
The dancing.
Yeah,
You just feel like you're in a family home.
so like you're immediately part of their family because it's quite disorientating at the start because it goes from person to person to person. You're like, who am I following in this movie? And then you settle on in their family home, and then kind of like all the characters that you've met start to like coalesce. And I thought that was brilliant. And actually, it gets like half an hour in, and when the police take away the dad, I felt like, oh no, I could have just watched 2 hours of this slice of life Brazilian family.
Agreed.
Which I think is really, really effective. Even though I'm like, oh, I would like to see that movie. It's really effective because then you're placed in the like shoes of the mum and the kids. I then view the rest of the story, maybe not these epilogues, and I think that's maybe why they don't work necessarily, as a character study on the mum.
Yeah, I think that first chunk, large chunk, works really well as its own film. I do think the stuff on the end then
it's odd, isn't it?
Makes it feel really weird. And I had the same thing. Sorry if I've interrupted you.
No, go.
With the when you do the first time jump, I was kind of like, because it happens in the Brutalist. I don't love it in the Brutalist. It's a bit weird. And I was kind of hoping that we weren't gonna. At the same time, I was hoping we weren't gonna have a tacked on bit for 5 minutes and one that wasn't going to be another half of the film.
Sure.
And then I think it kind of pays off. The place that you see that family in, the kind of message that they give you at the end of that middle chunk.
Yep.
So you get another ending.
I know, yeah.
And you're like, oh, that really works.
And it works.
And recontextualizes things.
As a character, like, as a epilogue to her character study.
Yeah.
And then, like, just, it works on the other family members that are there as well in that time period. That is the point that actually made, I was like, I found myself, like, emotionally moved. The point that I cried is kind of what you were saying. I cried, teared up twice. But they were not like, cry now, big swelling music.
Yeah.
One of them was in that epilogue, there's a moment between two characters where they are literally just talking. Which I won't spoil. Maybe I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I actually felt myself like stomach kind of moving, like sobbing, but then it didn't sob. But
you were just shaking your seat.
Yeah.
Shaking your boots.
I was, ooh. It was so natural. Which I'm now thinking, did the family members wouldn't have played them, would they?
It's really interesting that you say that because I think that chunk of the film becomes quite unnatural.
Oh, interesting.
And there's a scene between two characters where I thought the dialogue was quite bad. And
I think it's probably the same thing.
Same scene, yeah.
Because it feels movie dialogue-y.
Yeah.
But I also don't think I kind of went, that's maybe translation and the sentiment of what's getting put across.
Oh, okay, fair.
Because the performances from the two characters I thought was very emotionally moving. I sometimes think that is just a barrier that you have to face when you're watching international movies, is like, especially in this, there's scenes where like family are all round and they don't do the thing of like overlapping dialogue, so you're only hearing one person when you're reading the subtitles point. So you kind of just have to like embrace it. There's movies that work a lot better subtitled, like things like Parasite, where like it's very staccato and everybody's like saying their lines separately. This is not that. Yes, with that first half being like this character study on the mother, I think her name's Fernandez.
Oh, her performance is unreal.
Fernanda Torres is mind blowing. She is nominated for Best Actress, and I would happily see her take it.
Yeah, I think I actually would want her to take
out of the five.
Yeah,
I swither between her and Mikey Madison. She like magnificent, and I'm so like shocked that the Oscars nominated this because it's not flashy.
No.
It is so subtle and it's all in her face. The other scene that made me cry is or tear up. There's this scene where she's in a ice cream shop with her kids. I kind of equate it to the moment in Barbie where Barbie's sitting on a bench.
Oh yeah.
And it just like dots around like what she's taking in and how it's affecting her. It's kind of similar, where like it floats around different points of the ice cream shop and then like comes back to her and like what she's focusing on.
I can see why that got you.
Oh my god!
It lingers on the kids as well.
Yeah,
and it does. It's actually really interesting because it does the thing of, because the kids are all different ages, doing the generational thing. Generational, I'll say generation, but like going oldest, youngest.
Yeah.
Doesn't go through all of them, but you just kind of see like the reactions from the older ones, like they keep kind of clocked on what's happening with the mother.
They're real, yeah.
Yeah, and then the youngest one's just like hugging her mum. I just don't think she has any clue what's going on, but she obviously feels the emotion of it.
I think you find that as well. There's one of their other children really clocks on, like she's been away from her mum for a bit and then she clocks on immediately that she's not right. Just that scene, like it's actually mental. The camera holds on her and she has a single tear that's just like holding itself in her eye. I just completely felt so deeply attached to like what she was feeling. And I just think it's a beautiful... There's been a lot of movies lately that are like motherhood or exploring motherhood, I feel like in the last year.
Bridget Jones.
Another way to link them. Woo. I don't think anything has come close to portraying motherhood as delicately and as beautifully as this. Like, she has to play two characters in her own life, like this strong, hopeful person, and can't let that crack for fear of her kids, it affecting them. And then also the more vulnerable, I think she's deep down knows what's happening to her husband because of the regime that they're living in.
I think there was a moment where I was like, oh, she got this performance in the bag, like for me, because she goes into the bathroom at one point and she's like looking at herself in the mirror and she's looking all like timid and like she'd been through shit.
Yeah.
And then she like straightens up and she like looks herself in the mirror. She's like, I am mother now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am mother now.
I am mother.
That was my favourite line of dialogue. It really got me. There is a... Have you seen the Substance mirror scene?
No. I haven't seen anything from the Substance.
Great. The Oscar clip for Demi Moore in that is a mirror scene. Impressive, but it's so overused and it's unsubtle. This, like what you're saying, it was just completely like... She just embodied who that person was and I was blown away by it. Also, it looks lovely. And I said this yesterday, but I was like, I can't tell if that's just Brazil looks gorgeous or if this was really shot well. I think a bit of both.
Yeah, I think so. Because then you get to Sao Paulo and it's not quite Brazil. Yeah. Not to shit on.
This is Sao Paulo, no. Yeah. We love
the weekend. Should I go number 5 now?
Did you do your number 4?
Mine was Conclave.
Yes, you did. Sorry. Yeah, you're number 5.
Wicked.
Yay! My number 5 is also Wicked.
It's really funny that that's like that far up there for me because, like I said when we talked about this film before, like wasn't particularly excited about it going in, and it ended up being. Actually, this is really interesting because we did a top 10 of last year for my number 10, but of the films that I've seen, it's my number 5 of 8.
Yeah.
So it's worked its way up. Because some of my favourite films are excluded from Best Picture. Just fantastic. This is Cynthia Erivo's performance, which is also very good. We love a musical.
Best Actress is really like chock full of good performances.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even in Amelia Perez, which is a film that is not amazing. I do like some of the performances. Mainly, What's her name?
Zoe Saldana?
Yes.
Okay. She's not the one.
I know
that's
she's
in-
not
yeah.
on. It's Carla Sofia Gascon.
Yeah.
Who I think does have a good performance at times. You don't like her performance at all?
I think the other four stand leagues above her
Oh,
performance.
100%. Well, I've not seen Demi Moore,
Oh, actually,
so
it's by the way. I don't know. She's not a good person apparently. So
I'll talk about.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I talk about Amelia Perez when I get to it as well.
Sorry, Wicked.
Blown away by it. Sorry, not blown away by it, but sort of because
You weren't expecting.
I wasn't
to be-
expecting
yeah.
to enjoy it as much. It's just fun.
Yep.
I think I'm going back to Amelia Perez. 2 musicals. I think when you are in like a goofy, fantastical world, a musical just does work better. And so like that is like this film's strength.
Yeah.
Is the actual world building, which I guess is already kind of done for them because it is just the Wizard of Oz. But
It's a reimagining though. Is it? I mean, like it's nearly a century later. Do you know? Like
that's wild.
yeah.
Have you heard all the little extra bits of like, obviously filmmaking, they just used what they wanted back in the day. So I think the Wizard of Oz, like the Tin Man suit, like poisoned him or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just like all
there's
those little
horror stories from
yeah.
the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, is it because it was lead?
I think so.
Yeah, just
What?
was there not something else to do with like the paint on the witch or something?
Oh, is there?
Is it lead paint? I'm not sure. There's just like
There
a
is a lot of
bad stuff happened with
and not
the
Wicked.
Wizard of Oz.
I
And
think
not
Cynthia
Wicked.
Erivo was okay going green.
I mean, with all that green screen, there's nothing that
And
can really go
green.
wrong.
That they had to do blue because she was so green.
That makes sense.
I made that up. I have no idea if that's why, but that does make sense. She does the defying gravity sequence and disappears. It's just the clouds going, ooh, whoa, whoa.
Ariana Grande's good in this too.
Yeah, put some respect on her
So is
name.
Jonathan Bailey. And I liked all the kind of, I love a story when there's just like stuff happening in the background and it's like the very like 1984 aspect of Wicked where it's the people, the animals getting like pushed out and things. And I think this and weirdly the same vein as I'm Still Here, you can kind of like draw to the real world of like all this political stuff happening in the background. I think that's why I was getting kind of frustrated when I was watching I'm Still Here. Was just like worrying about the real world.
The real world, I know, totally.
Yeah.
I also, see, now that you're saying that, I'm going to quickly say about Amelia Perez, which I guess we'll get to. But like, if you want to nominate something because it's politically relevant and that's like a defining factor for you, you had other movies. You had other movies that you nominated, do you know, that I think would do an adequate or better job of like conveying politics. Like Wicked is really relevant now, which is hilarious.
Yeah, it also has the whole thing of like a smoke and mirrors character who's like larger than life, but actually is like kind of a moron. Elon Musk. Do you know like
no, sorry. I think his name is the Wizard. What a guy. Yeah, I concur with everything you said. I rewatched this recently and was like, Cynthia Erivo, wow. And not that I didn't think that on the first time, but I just was like, her performance is far more subtle, I guess, than Ariana Grande's. Who I think Ariana Grande should be walking away with an Oscar. Because it's mainly between her and Zoe Saldana, and I think it's night and day in my opinion on who gives a better performance. In my opinion.
Actually, yeah. I mean, the problem I think is with Amelia Perez's script for Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, but you can't go, we're going to give you an award because you're the best part of a bad movie. Fuck that. You're still part of the movie.
But it's about the person's performance, not about the film.
We'll get to it, but she disappears. Zoe Saldana is the main character, and then she disappears.
Sure.
Oh God, can't wait to get to
I really
that.
want to talk about it.
I know. Yeah, I was very similar. I mean, I like musicals. I'm not a musical hater or anything.
Why'd you look at me?
I'm sorry, the side eye I gave you. But I just think that this was, again, kind of similar to Dune, not in that it's like auteur filmmaking embedded in a blockbuster, but it was like well done blockbuster filmmaking. The 3-hour runtime or whatever, both times I've seen it now, or I've seen it 3 times, flew by. It flies by. It's paced really well, and I think that's quite hard to do, especially with a musical, because often if the rhythm's not right, I think you can isolate audiences by being like, oh, another song. And never am I like, ugh, another song, maybe apart from Jeff Goldblum's.
Yes. That's a really good point. I don't think there's ever a point where you're like, oh, we just have one.
Yes.
Like, why are we getting another one? Because there's enough of an actual film in there in between the musical aspects of it.
And it's funny because there is actually 2 in quick succession. So Dancing Through Life is like a 10-minute section. You then get to the Ozdas Ball, which is this like really intimate, quiet scene. And also, I think the reason this is so high for me is that scene. I think that scene's one of the best scenes from this kind of lineup. And hearing about the production, like, oh, you can feel it. That happens. They go back to a little bit of Dancing Through Life. And then immediately Glinda and Elphaba are in her room. And then Popular starts.
That all happens like...
But you don't feel it because they like pace it out well. I think it's just very well done. I think John M. Chu was getting like awards and stuff for directing, and people are like, what? Why? I actually think he should get some level of appreciation. I don't think blockbuster filmmaking gets from directing point of view. Like,
just on your point of like, oh, this is how blockbusters should be made. I do think we've lost that. Like, now we have like Fast and Furious and like there's like the superhero fatigue and things. I was thinking back on this because I watched Narnia recently, and I was talking about Pirates of the Caribbean yesterday. There's like, we used to have really excellent new blockbuster films that would come out. A lot of them actually under Disney. And now we just don't. Like, we'll get like Disney Plus films that are like green screen fuckfest with bad writing. Like, what's happened?
Yeah. Actually thinking about like the blockbusters coming up this year, there's not, if you take away the superhero stuff, there's not like something there that's like this big grand Pirates of the Caribbean level like filmmaking.
Where's like the kind of like smaller fantasy, like stuff that's not like Lord of the Rings or something,
or part of a massive IP.
Yeah, where's like the fantasy for kids?
Yeah.
But like a family fantasy adventure, where did those go?
Totally, yeah. And I think Wicked kind of
fulfills that.
Fulfills that. Sure, it's a musical and that'll be a barrier for some people, but like, I don't know. It's just it's interesting to get that kind of, to get that era of blockbuster back into the cinema, but also to get like that era of musical. I don't like, when was the last musical that did really well? Steven Spielberg's West Side Story flopped, like really flopped.
I mean, I said to you, like, I watched Wicked and Wonka last year, and I feel like Wicked blows Wonka out of the water.
Yeah.
And then like any musical that I've seen prior to that in recent years, I don't think stood out to me. Like I went to see In the Heights with you guys, which would have been like 2021 now or something. The last one that I really enjoyed was like Hamilton,
which was literally just the stage version filmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's just interesting to think on, and I wonder if this will change going forward. Like, are we going to get a broad movie adaptation of like insert musical
Jurassic
Footloose
Park
again?
the musical?
Wow, I would watch.
It's
Jonathan
just,
Bailey in ScarJo.
No, it's how the T-Rex, like how everyone turned on the T-Rex.
Oh,
yeah,
that's good on you. Empathetic, thinking about the T-Rex's point of view. You went 5, I went 5. Your 6?
And my 6 is I'm Still Here, so it's just straight onto your 6, I guess.
My 6 is Conclave.
Right.
Cardinal, you've been sequestered for Conclave. I just love it.
Did you watch it a second time? Were you just like...
No, I think I've just seen clips.
Right.
I'm like really in the Conclave like edits.
Right. You've got Conclave TikTok edits.
I can't remember the line, so I'm not going to do it, but the bit where Ray Fiennes and Stanley Tucci are like standing outside the guarded door, and he said, "Oh, it's something like, but this is a wall."
Stanley Tucci says that.
Yeah.
Is this right after he's holding the rack of clothes and
Yes.
he looks like he's in the Devil
He's in
Wears
the Devil Wears
Prada?
Prada. Please, Stanley Tucci, this is my formal request. Before I put in that formal request, is he in the stand book?
Is he not one of the first people in the stand
I
book?
think he is. Gosh, I'm gonna have to keep it. I'm just gonna
We'll have
say
to
the
keep it
same
up or
names.
something. It's because I think we firmly know who we would want in the
He's
stand book.
not.
But we brought him up.
But Anne Hathaway's here.
And we didn't put Stanley Tucci.
The Tucci's not. The Tucci.
You know what?
Would you put him in?
No, I love Stanley Tucci, but I'm thinking
We could put Nigel from The Devil Wears Prada.
No, that's not allowed.
Gird your loins.
What? So there's Conclave, Devil Wears Prada. There's the Hunger Games. What else is he in?
Who the
It's like
fuck is he in the Hunger Games?
He's the host.
Oh my god, he is.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's hilarious. He's in Easy A. He's brilliant in Easy A. He plays great dad in that. I haven't seen a lot of his movies. He's in The Muppets Most Wanted.
Let me watch The Muppets Most Wanted, and I'll get back to you on whether it can be in the in the stand book. I feel like I need to be aware of like how good they are in a couple of different projects.
Oh, he's in Robots.
He's in Robots.
As in the animated movie.
Oh my god, who does he play in Robots?
Is he not
Mr.
Herb?
Bigwell. Who the hell's Herb?
Herb Copperbottom.
Wait, is that the main character?
No, that's Rodney. It's his dad. Is it?
It is his dad.
Yeah, okay.
And damn, that is a good movie. And a great performance, some might say. I actually don't remember that performance very well.
This is we'll let him marinate there.
He can pending stand up. Oh. She can make as much noise as possible to drown us out.
If that wasn't calling camera, Owen was just tapping the table.
I fidget
elsewhere.
Okay.
No, I just love the vibes of this movie. It's one of these ones that I enjoy while watching it, but I feel like I need a rewatch. Great screenplay, as you brought up. Mm-hmm. The first thing I wrote down about this movie is in part of the monologue that Ray Fiennes gives, he says, "Certainty is the great enemy of unity." And I just think that is a great line.
Also applicable to
now.
Politics.
Again, if you want another more politically relevant film to win, this fully.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, really, I love that this was like, we're going to take a setting of the Catholic Church, and it's not really going to be about Catholicism, or like, you can apply any religion to this, or any political belief that has like opposing ideologies.
Yeah.
And just map it onto this. Like, it's super interesting to me that they were like, it is a political thriller first, and we're just dressing it up in Catholicism, I guess. The thing that maybe dampens this a little for me is I don't know if the ending was as impactful to me as I think the film wished it was. I think it gets kind of lost a little in the in how it resolves. Mm-hmm. But I can't speak
too much about that
on certainty with that, because I don't know, maybe I would feel slightly differently, but my feelings of it right now are the ending was a little not out of left field, because I saw that coming, but
quite literally left field.
Well,
politics.
Yeah, I don't know. Great performances from an ensemble, which is always fun. And I just loved the bitchiness of it. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah. I liked the ending, personally.
I liked it. I don't know if it built... I felt like it was going to build up something else, or I don't know.
You're talking about the, like, kind of twisty.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not a twist, but it's...
Yeah, it's
It's a thing. A thing happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think because the rest of it was so tight, that didn't feel like as tight to me. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't feel that bad.
However, I will just be quoting them for a while.
Good. Actually, of the films that we've talked about, for some reason, it's not the top ones I want to go rewatch. It's Conclave and Wicked. Having just spoken about them.
Yeah. No, I feel
Just
that.
interesting. That's how that works sometimes.
Totally. Snap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 7 for me.
So, as a reminder, this is now your second last.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you worried I'm not gonna put...
No, I'm just like, it's funny because we had the same top 6 and now I feel like there's going to be a gap.
Oh. Okay. There might not be.
There
there might.
there
Well, you're
will
gonna
be.
know what it
Yeah.
is. So, A Complete Unknown is my number 7. I should actually just make things clear because I guess we talked about films and I did a top 10 for the year previous. Sorry, this came out after that anyway. But like we've been through films. You've reviewed some of these or spoken about some of them on the podcast. I haven't. And the reason being that I only watched Amelia Perez on Wednesday. Today's Saturday. Amelia Perez on Wednesday. A Complete Unknown on Thursday, and then I'm Still Here yesterday. So like there are these 3 films I've like literally just seen. A Complete Unknown I definitely enjoyed more than you, I think.
Interesting.
I actually weirdly was drawn into Timothée Chalamet's performance.
Hey, Mama Dylan.
Even sure.
I just need to write a song.
That's fucking fantastic. I was weirdly drawn into it. Not straight away. I don't know if you saw the little one sentence that I put on Letterboxd. Mm-hmm. But I essentially what I meant by that, I said I was underwhelmed and underwhelmed to begin with, and I think it is the make him like an off-putting character. Like you're not supposed to. He's like impenetrable. Like you're not supposed to be able to like get anywhere near him because that's kind of like how he wants it to be. Mm-hmm. I think even though that character is the same as the film progresses, you spend time with him, maybe get to understand them more, and you kind of see the nuances of like Timothy's performance and things. And I think I did get like drawn into that. What else did you say? You didn't like the ending particularly, I think. Especially here, it's the thing with the biopics that, and it worked for me, but it annoyed me at the same time, which is this film ends with a concert, as does like Bohemian Rhapsody, and probably, I don't actually know how many other like musical biopics that I've seen, but like I think they all probably kind of end up
with a concert of them overdosing normally.
Right, lovely. I do think it works here because it's essentially a progression of his character, and you're getting to see like change and how people push back against change. So I did like it, but when that scene started and I knew we were kind of at the end of the film, I was kind of like, oh, we're doing this now, are we? And I think for the first half of the film that I was underwhelmed by, to me it just kind of like felt like a generic kind of biopic film. There was nothing particularly interesting going on. I think A Complete Unknown sort of does the time jumps well, maybe because you're not as connected to those earlier time periods compared to something like I'm Still Here, where I think you're so invested in that family, and then time jumps and you're like, what are you doing? Stop it. Just end the film, or like yeah, I think it was interesting learning about Bob Dylan too, and how he's just this person that just does not want to be boxed in, and also does not want to stick around for anything. Like he just keeps moving forward, and also just a bit of an asshole.
Did the little lines at the end, did that take you out?
No, it actually worked for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For which he did not attend.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I get it. Having what with the context of the film, I was like, oh, I get who this person is.
Goofy as shit though.
Oh,
he's so quirky.
No, I thought it worked. So yeah, I gave this film like 3.5 stars out of 5. I didn't think it was anything special.
Yeah.
I think it, to me, it actually might be like Timothy's performance has somehow got it on this list, because I don't think the film itself stands out amongst. Well, I don't think Amelia Perez or this can be compared to the other films in this list.
I mean, he is in contention to win Best Actor, but he hasn't won anything. It's went to Adrian Brody everywhere. It's very similar to like supporting actress. People think Ariana Grande is going to do something, but it's went to Zoe Saldana.
Just to be clear, I'm not surprised by that. I just think I don't think anything in this film was particularly exceptional to get it into the Best Picture lineup. Mm-hmm. But a good film to me.
Interesting. Timmy.
A good film to me.
My numero 7 is sorry, my Spanish slipped out. Is Nickel Boys, which I know might be like low for some people, or I don't know. It is a movie that I respect the craft of so much, like so much. I when I was watching it, I was like, this should be nominated, even if I like enjoyed it even less than I did. It, like, to see something this new and refreshing, I think it deserves to be here. If you don't know about Nickel Boys, and the only reason I'm going to give this synopsis is because, as I said before, there was like no showings of this. I think very little people will have seen this. I also don't think Cineworld, and I'm sure other cinemas,
I don't think it's in the award season lineup.
They do like an award season, so they show all the movies.
Yeah.
Nickel Boys isn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a little look around, just to be clear for the viewer's sake. I'm going to see The Substance tonight, which is a little bit frustrating because it would have been nice to actually have ranked this somewhere on this list, but you know, life.
You can update next week.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming you were going to say you can't find the Nickel Boys.
I never saw the Nickel Boys when I was searching.
It's so odd. I do understand it though. It is a very hard sell for people. So the movie takes place completely in first person perspective. So you follow two black teenagers who have been like taken to a, like, I don't even know what you would call it, like a kids prison kind of thing,
like a juvenile
correction facility.
Yeah.
There is a name that they use for it in the film, and I'm just slipping on what it is. But this place that they take him into, it's segregated. The white kids are, and it's completely segregated, and the African Americans who are there, are not treated well at all, to the point that like, this was a whole thing in the States, that these facilities existed, and they were like tortured and in some cases killed by the people who ran the facility, and awful harrowing stuff, and it is shot from two first person points of view, so you are the two teenagers and you'll go back and forth between them.
First person?
Yeah, two first person points, so it's as if
this would be the shot.
The shot is you, and then the other shot would be here. It's really bizarre.
At the same time on the screen?
No.
Okay.
So it flips.
Okay. I thought that, but I just wanted to be clear.
That'd be very disorientating.
So God. This is like the A Way Out video game.
I don't know that, but sure. It's Guns Akimbo.
It's like two perspectives in prison.
No, that wasn't. What was the one? Hardcore Henry.
Right.
Yeah. It's... Now, in doing that, it is super interesting. The cinematography here is mind-blowing. Like, actually, so many gorgeous shots as well. It's shot in this, probably like my favourite way that people are ever shot. It's like so focused on the person that the background blurs behind them. Like, the focus is just on the people. It just creates these like rich images. Like, the colours that were in this movie is unbelievable to look at. And also, like, you can convey stuff really smartly. So like when they're in town and, you know, they're nervous about being seen, or like how white people are going to treat them or something, instead of like a camera showing that and them getting nervous and upset and you seeing the characters, suddenly like a camera's pointing down and like your eyes are shifting away and like you're fully immersed in how they feel because of the cinematography. However, in doing that, for me personally, I think it takes away this emotional attachment a little to the story because the story is so deeply upsetting. I'm an emotional person. I expected to feel like emotionally moved, and I was emotionally moved, but I wasn't like brought to like, wasn't as emotionally moved as I think I maybe would have been had this played out as a normal narrative, which kind of sucks because I'm in two minds of like, I really enjoy how it was shot, but I also think it's to its detriment, but also to its benefit. Yeah, it's profound and heavy, and it's well worth a watch to like, I guess, make up your own mind about how you feel about it. But it just didn't leave me with the impact that I think it wanted me to leave with, and that I think is why it's just lower down for me.
That's probably similar to how I felt with I'm Still Here. The emotional aspect of it.
Yeah.
I didn't quite connect with it as much, even though I could recognize all of it and still feel it. It just wasn't like as deep as I think I was supposed to.
I think it will be difficult for people to really resonate with this movie though, because of the way it's shot. Like I've seen a lot of reviews because I actually didn't really. I was trying to like piece together my thoughts and stuff after I saw it, and I saw a lot of reviews that were like, really enjoyed this. Took me like a solid like chunk of the movie to settle into what I'm actually watching because it is just so different.
It's not like disorienting. With,
it is a little at the start.
The camera going like.
Well, yeah, because you're following their eyes. There are some like beautiful moments though, like where, you know, normally you would look at a scene and the scene's like this, but like because you're the character, it'll like zoom in, not like digital zoom or that. It'll just like show a part of the scene that they're focusing on. Like that's so interesting because of what this means. I don't know. Not a very difficult watch, but also a lovely watch on like friendship. Yeah.
Nice.
I also don't want to say too much because you're gonna see it.
I was gonna be like, you better not spoil any of these for me.
No, yeah, I haven't spoiled what.
Yeah, the substance. You better watch it.
Do you want me to do my 8 and my 9? Because I think we're gonna have the same last place.
Oh, okay, go for it. Yeah, that's fine. If you're happy to go through those.
Yeah, it's fine. Because I've spoke about one of them already.
Which was
Complete Unknown. My number 8 though is The Substance. Good movie. I preface, I'm not a massive horror fan, but I don't think that negates my opinion on this because I think as a film, I think it has issues. Still enjoyed it. I actually was so grossed out by the first 2/3 of this movie that, like, in the best way possible. I was like, I felt uncomfortable. I felt sick. I was like, I kind of want to leave. Because it is very clinical in those first 2 acts.
the poster looks clinical.
Yes. So the poster for this movie is her bathroom. And her bathroom is just all white tiles, and you spend a lot of time in that bathroom, and it just feels like claustrophobic in a way. You're like, get me out. And then every time you leave, it's like a little bit of respite from that room. I adored the horror aspects of, again, I'm talking about the first 2/3 only here, but the horror aspects of that, the like uncompromising vision to like really put you in surgical kind of aspects and like really focus on the body and not the body in like the body can be this like sexy or like beautiful thing. It's the body's fucking gross, and we're not letting you. Like you're gonna have to live with what we're showing you, even if that makes you feel like deeply, deeply uncomfortable. I think as well in these first 2/3, how the premise of the movie. If you don't know the premise of the movie, an actress is really old. No, gosh, she's not really old.
Yeah, you talking about Demi Moore here?
In the movie.
Jeez.
In the movie.
Demi Moore.
An actress turns 50. Not old.
Not old. Oh my god.
And on her 50th birthday, the TV show that she's done, she's like fired and they are going to replace her with a young person. When she gets home, she finds a package or a USB drive called The Substance, and it is this substance that they can take to make a younger version of themselves. But it's a clone, and they have to, the message of the movie is remember you're one. They have to live both their lives a week at a time. And chaos ensues because of that.
This is so interesting. I also had no idea what this film was about.
Yeah.
But I think I knew the thing of
a younger version
getting replaced by a younger version. I'm not sure why I know that.
A lot of the awards stuff, they've had Margaret Qualley like come out and be like, I'm you. Like,
I haven't watched a lot of award stuff.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't. I must have read a review somewhere about something else that related to it.
That aspect of it is really interesting at the start because it is this commentary on the treatment of women in Hollywood and the treatment of women in general, and how we like put on a pedestal youth and beauty, and we kind of forget an aging society. Again, not old, but like even just people who are aging, they're kind of like dismissed, and it is very much like focused on youth. Interesting at the start. That theme draws so thin, or wears so thin for me, as the movie goes on, because it feels like it has nothing else to add to that. Then when you start to get into this middle section, I just think it meanders, and it is the same thing over and over again. I didn't mind that though, but then the ending I just think is so tonally not in line with everything else, and I think it is still meant to be like horrifying and like grotesque and stuff, and I was just completely taken out of it. I find it humorous, which I guess like I think some people could argue this is like campy and like whatever. I didn't get that vibe from it. I wasn't like, yeah, this. I don't know. It just didn't work for me as a screenplay as a whole. I just don't think it had as much to say as it thinks it. I think it thinks it's clever than it is.
Okay. I'm so interested. Like, I'm listening so carefully because I'm going to be thinking about all this tonight. And
I think the way the ending goes, because I enjoyed the horror and the like intimate horror of the first two acts so much, that when it goes off in another way, it wasn't as compelling as those first two acts. Sadly. But a lot of people love it. I also think Demi Moore's performance is fine. I don't think she's given enough to work with, if I'm being honest. The bathroom mirror scene's great. And she has like different moments, but I don't know. I think there's actually quite little for her to do. And I think that is because thematically it's quite empty, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks beautiful though.
There's a lot of references in this film to other films as well, is there not? Is the substance not quite film reference heavy?
In what way?
I don't know. I feel like I just heard that it like a lot of references to like small Easter eggs to other films.
Not as far. I mean, you could say it's like drawing on influence from other films. I wouldn't call it. Okay. I don't know.
I'll watch the film and see if I catch anything. Huh. I mean, there's a bathroom scene. I'm assuming there's some sort of psycho Easter egg in there.
No.
Nothing about anything going down a drain
but not like. That's like any scene that happens in a bathroom that feetures a drain.
Oh like, that happened in I'm Still Here. They did the drain with the
and my number 9 is a complete unknown. If you want to hear my full thoughts on it, I have a whole ramble in one of our podcast episodes.
Yep.
Cannot remember the number.
Another Jack ramble.
Me. I guess I'll just say, because obviously it's been a little bit of time. I've seen like a few reviews of people being like, "Oh, it's really smart because like Bob Dylan is a metaphor for the changing like times with music. Like he is a vessel for this metaphor. And like, sure, but I don't think that makes him a compelling lead per se. And I feel like people are giving it a lot of credit because it's like, oh, it's not a normal biopic because it's also talking about the journey of like this time period in music. I'm like, but the way you've went about that is still with like hitting the same beats as a normal biopic, and then instead of having a character who's interesting, you have the character who's like there to facilitate a metaphor about music changing.
I wouldn't say the character's uninteresting.
He's not uninteresting, but comparatively, I think he is to like. I mean, Anora, Laszlo from The Brutalist, the mother in I'm Still Here, both the characters in Wicked. Like
in comparison, is The Thief of Joy, Jack.
Okay, well, I will say I'd started listening to Bob Dylan's music a little bit more, and actually, 2 of the songs from the movie, I really like. Oh no, you've seen it.
Yeah, is it
Blowing in the Wind?
Yeah, I've not listened to that afterwards. I've listened to They're Changing, Times Are Changing. I quite like that one.
I just can't remember what the other one is.
I decided to go back to the start of his discography.
That's a lot of.
Well, I was like, I can listen to this as like background music or something. Like I don't need to be super invested in it. So,
yeah. You saying that about Bob Dylan? Yeah, I just the problem for me is it just ends up being a concert. There's too many. It's just songs. The entire movie.
I didn't feel like that about it being just songs because especially the concert stuff. I didn't feel like we spent a lot of time at concerts. There just ends up being like a lot of them, but they're always like 2 minutes.
But like songs, like it's like the opposite of Wicked. Another song just appears like all the time in that movie.
I didn't feel like that.
Interesting.
I also think there was a really good scene where like Bob comes in and it's like his mentor's like TV show, and he sits down.
I quite like that scene.
Yeah, it's a really like that's probably like a standout scene in the film.
What did you think the other performances in that movie?
I really liked Ed Norton's performance in that film. I just kind of got him as like the
he is nominated.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What's her name? The person that's famous before he is
Joan Baez. That's the person I was saying she blew me away.
She's really good. She didn't blow me away. I think because I know you said we didn't see enough of her in the film, and you want to see more of her. I literally feel like we barely saw her in the film, so I don't think there was a lot to like dig into there. I think I saw a review about the love interest in the film,
Sylvie Elle Fanning.
Yeah, and I kind of agreed with it, where it's just sort of it might have been yours. I might have read yours afterwards. There's not a whole lot going on there. She just is like the love interest, and there's a point in the film where she's quite upset, and I don't think you feel it because
they want you to feel a lot for her. Yeah,
and I don't think it quite works because you don't spend enough time,
sadly,
with her.
Yep.
And even though you've seen Bob Dylan kind of just neglect her and other bad things, you don't like. There's not enough of a connection with that character for that to have an emotional impact on you.
Did you believe the relationship? Because that's also the thing that annoyed me was like the time jump there, where it was like, well, oh, okay,
Not particularly.
Yeah. Anyway, well, a big drum roll for our bot. Really? If I don't edit that, I hope that people enjoyed that listening with headphones.
Yeah.
I actually saw it clipping here. I was like, oh, fuck.
Did it blow out the microphone again, or is it cool?
Who knows?
Your number 10, my number 8
is
Emilia Perez.
Whoa!
Holy shit. I said I want to talk about this film. I don't know if I do want to talk about this film. I was saying I knew it was gonna be bad. It was about 10 minutes in and I was like, this is fine. There's not like a lot going on here that's terrible in this film.
Yeah.
There's like a musical number, and at the start it's like on the street with Zoe Saldana, and I was like, oh, this is well choreographed and everything, and I was like, this could be interesting. And then and then 10 minutes after that, you're in like the scene where Zoe Saldana's gone to figure out how to get like the operations for the main character. I'm forgetting everyone's names. I was so like not in this film.
The main character's name is Amelia Perez.
Thank you. So the main character Anora.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, so she goes to like discover all of the to find the place to do operations for Amelia Perez, and it just is like an offensive scene. Mm-hmm. I said to you last night, it's like some of the closing shots to that scene where it's like zooming in on people's faces and there's people like burling around the camera and everyone's got like bandages on and things. It gave more like Sam Raimi horror than it did anything else. Mm-hmm. The thing I did say was like that is the lowest point of the film to me, and I probably think it is like the worst scene in the film. So it's all up from there. It's all the film is uphill from there.
And that uphill's a tiny little ramp.
Yeah, it's it goes up and then it plateaus again. Yeah, it's just the music bad.
Bad, straight up bad. Yeah,
but the choreography is like quite good in scenes.
I agree. I don't think this is dog shit. I think it's very bad. I actually probably would lower my. I saw this very close to when it came out on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I think I'd lower my rating slightly now because of the like reading I've done of like how it's offended the trans community and the Mexican community and XYZ. Because I think sometimes you'll just take that as like, if you don't know about it, maybe
it's like just ignorance.
I'm saying that, and then I'm like, I literally don't even believe what I'm saying because it is offensive when you're watching it. It's not.
Yeah, but it's like, if you're in that community, you understand that sort of thing more.
I think specifically with the Mexican stuff as well, like that them being offended about the way that they go about the like drug cartel stuff. Mm-hmm. That's interesting because that is something I don't
know anything
like,
about that.
Yeah.
So.
It's so funny when you're watching award shows and it's like Cynthia Erivo and she'll have this and they'll show the clip of like Defying Gravity and the most gorgeous voice you've ever seen in this emotion, and then it goes like Carlos Sofia Gascon and it's like dreadful singing to dreadful music. It's
you just made
just
me remember
so funny.
The scene where they're like in the truck. It's like quite
that's
early
exactly
on
what I was thinking about.
Yeah, and it's just like they're just like saying words.
Yep.
But it feels like they're offbeat, like it's so like weirdly out of sync and stuff.
I saw a TikTok about somebody analysing, it was the Vaginoplastic song.
Yeah.
And they were like, remove everything from the movie. From a songwriting point of view. And even like removing language. The cadence of like the way that they put emphasis on certain words doesn't make sense when you're writing songs. Mm-hmm. And they literally just took like 2 lines from the movie, placed the emphasis in different bits, and it sounded like so much better.
Who wrote the music?
Who knows? There's people who've watched this as well who say that the Spanish is bad.
Oh.
Because it was made by a French director who has said choice things about Mexico. If you're unaware of like the plethora of controversy that surrounds this movie now, I encourage you to go do some reading because it's actually insane. But the director had like no interest in showing Mexico authentically. He said like Spanish is like I can't remember the word he used, but like a lesser than language. Like
so, like just everyone not everyone in this film, but like there's just so much controversy around like a bunch of people that work on this film.
Well, no, the Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez are like, they're doing the awards circuit. Yeah. So they're getting asked this stuff, and you can see that they believe in the movie, but I don't know if that's just because they have to campaign it. Mm-hmm. But it sucks when like everything else surrounding it is. The Carlos Sofia Gascon stuff is actually mad.
Which I've only heard through you. I've not gone and done my reading yet. I think I want to get the film out of the way before I went and looked at all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't want to
necessarily bring it in.
Yeah. I've heard as well, I don't know what you thought of Selena Gomez's performance, but people say that her Spanish is actually terrible in this. Like, people don't understand the language.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is so funny because that's that language barrier thing of, oh, I thought she was okay in the movie, but people who understand the language are like, what?
You know what's funny? I actually wondered.
Interesting, really.
Yeah, but not because I could tell that it was bad. I just kind of wondered if it was going to be.
Huh.
Just because like she is American.
Yeah.
So like, you just never know, because we were on the other side of the.
She has.
I don't know, because in Wizards of Waverly Place, like her family are like.
No, she does though as well, because she's released a Spanish album. No.
Has she? Well, then I'm just shocked. Then how can she have bad Spanish?
But she doesn't normally speak Spanish. How would I find out? I've spelt her name wrong.
I think what happened was she said something and then went to like her American accent, speak English, and I was like, oh, she is so American.
Sure, yeah. She's also Selena Gomez, so I feel like you have like you're aware of who she is. Yeah. Spanish. The first thing that comes up, perdón, not sorry, Selena Gomez acting in Spanish is bad. Selena spent 6 months relearning Spanish for the role after admitting she lost her ability at 7 when her acting career began. Okay, she does have some sort of Spanish heritage, but I don't know what country.
Mm-hmm.
The movie as a whole, I think it's biting off too much than it can chew. Is that
Biting up more than I could chew?
Yeah, because it's like we want to tell a story of like Mexico and like displaced people in Mexico. We want to tell a story about drug cartels and like reformation, I guess, with them. We also want to tell a trans story. We also wanted to make it a musical. Like, it's doing too much, and it's not doing any of that particularly well. So it all just falls flat on its face.
Some just like weird choices in it too, in terms of, I feel like it tries to be like grounded, like it's not like it's not like a fantasy like Wicked or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene where they're all on the phone and Selena Gomez and Carla Sofia Gascon are like in front of like just colours on either side of the screen.
Oh yeah.
And like arguing with Zoe Saldana, and I was like, what the fuck is going on
Yeah.
here? Like, it's just like creative choices were just weird too.
Yeah. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling to see the like dissonance between audience reception and critic reception to this. Because like there are critics who adore this, and I don't know how. Because I straight up think you can call this a bad movie. As you're saying, like technically, it's all over the place. I think the things that save it are maybe the choreography, as you said. I actually think the score works in areas. I like the weird, eerie score. It's so seldomly used. It's not used a lot. Like some of the way it's shot. The interesting thing about this movie is it was all shot on sound stages. Yeah.
Really? I was about
Yeah.
No, some of the way it's shot is nice.
Yeah.
I do think some of like the cinematography is nice.
I don't know what the song is, but the one where she's in her like red blazer number is bada bada.
Is when she's dancing on tables.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got good choreography. Yeah.
And I like the way that was shot and stuff.
Yeah.
Zoe Saldana, for as we were alluding to, the first little bit of the movie is good. Then she's given nothing. I just think she's done nothing like.
And that's that.
Yeah.
Boo,
I would say. Boo
Yeah.
Amelia Perez.
Yeah. Shocked that it's even in here.
Truly. Especially when you think about the other movies that could have been in here. That's, I think, what is more annoying.
You hung up on Challenger still?
No. I would have taken Challengers or A Real Pain in here.
Queer?
Sorry. I would have taken the majority of movies I saw last year over this.
Yeah.
But
So valid.
I wonder if it'll walk away with anything. Now that controversies have happened, like in this voting period, and I wonder how you like talk about it. Zoe Saldana did win for BAFTA for supporting actress, and her speech, she was like very emotional. And you do just have to like skirt around all the controversy. It's weird being like, I still believe in Emilia Perez and stuff. I'm like, Actually, kind of want to ask you this. Do you think the reason that this is in is because it's... I hate saying this because I think it's horrible to think this way, but like, it's a movie that tackles certain things, so it's like, it looks good for voters and for it to be here because they think it's progressive.
I have no idea. I don't know how these people think. I can't. If they were going to choose a film to do that, this might be the one because it's so hits. Overtly that.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. I can't figure out how these people make these decisions.
I sadly think it is, and they just don't understand that it's offensive and in its depictions of all this stuff, and instead they are trying to be like, look at us, we're the Oscars and we're being progressive,
we're moving forward,
and it's absolutely not the right move. But I don't know. It's again, their voting body and stuff. I just find it shocking it's here. And more so shocking that people are still talking glowingly about it.
Are there?
There was, I can't remember who, but there was an actor, Ron Perlman, I think, who was asked like his favourite movie or something. He was like, Emilia Perez, that movie, oh.
Is that Hellboy?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's insane.
Yeah, so there are people who like it. Not us, clearly. That was our ranking of the Best Picture nominees.
Let's talk about something lighter and more fun.
Please.
Spider-Man.
Thwip. Transition.
I think you said at the start of this podcast that we covered it each week. We didn't, because we didn't cover it last week because I hadn't seen it, I don't think.
Oh, I briefly spoke about it, didn't I? But like not in
depth. Which is unfortunate, because I think what you said was like, oh, this was a good arc.
Yeah.
And you were right. The weakest arc, I think, is the second one.
Yeah.
Where do we start?
Do you want to just go straight into spoilers?
Yeah, fuck it. Because at this point...
Yeah, there'll be time codes if you don't want to get spoiled for this or aren't interested.
Alright.
So, yeah.
I like how they're dealing with Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think it's necessarily true that he has to become a villain.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could either be that he just makes the right choices because he's a good person, or things have changed enough in this universe that like he's not gonna have to make the bad decision that sends him down like that route, like that final nail in the coffin. Or it could be that like Spider-Man saves him. Like, it could be any of those things, and because it's so separate from these other universes, I think he could go that route. I saw the time loop thing coming. I'm assuming you were the same way.
I didn't.
I think it's just kind of like a played out. I'm tapping a notebook and Jack's not happy. I think it is just kind of like a played out thing at this point. Not that I'm saying that I was upset about it, but it is a weird one because it is a paradox.
On both those points, the Lonnie stuff, find it interesting because I thought that episode 9, I thought that was so interesting that he was the one to stop Peter and be like, yo,
yes,
don't go too far. Because then I had a similar thought to you. I was like, oh my god, this would be so interesting if like next season Peter goes bad.
Going the wrong route, yeah.
And because his mentor is different, which I can see them wanting to go down that way, and he becomes this like hero. And then episode 10 kind of frustrated me a little with where they ended his arc, because they were like, and he's just part of the 110 and he doesn't care about football. And I get it, I do get it, and I think it makes sense because to a certain extent it's became his like family, and over the course of these 10 episodes I do think it was just a little bit like,
maybe it feels like it can't go back.
Yeah, I wish they explored him a little bit more though there.
Yeah, I think I was expecting him to go back to school, because there's a shot where they are back at school, and I think I was expecting him to walk into the classroom because he was now free of Dawn, essentially. I'm really interested to see what they do with Daredevil.
That's what I was
Played by
alluding
Charlie
to.
Cox.
I know. I heard that voice. I was like, oh.
And well, I actually couldn't tell because it is it's like deeper and more like heroic. His voice in the show.
It's his She-Hulk voice.
It's. I saw someone say like he's now playing in that version is like a more like comic-y version of Daredevil, and I thought that was just really interesting because I think you can see there is a different Daredevil there. No idea who the other character is with Daredevil.
Do you want me to say Taskmaster's daughter?
I didn't know Taskmaster had a daughter.
No, neither. I just heard that. I don't even know if that's what they're going to go with, but...
Oh, I'm also going to make this point here because I made this point to you last night when you were like, oh, you know who Nico is. I haven't seen The Runaways, so I don't know who that is.
So my whole thing of being like, yeah, get ready for the big reveal.
No reveal.
Yep.
And then also like, I just don't know who that character is anyway, so it has absolutely no weight.
The time loop stuff. I thought the dialogue was written very well there because he comes through the portal. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It's multiversal strange because he goes, oh, from the school. And he's like, I don't know what you're on about, the school. And like, it feels like it is a strange from another multiverse that came.
Oh, I think to me, I just knew he hadn't done it yet.
Clearly smarter. I love that though. I love a little paradox and like stuff like that. I genuinely thought that was an interesting way of resolving the like final episode.
I think it was. I don't know. I liked it, and it's weird if it's a paradox. I think because then like how would Peter have got bitten in the first place anyway? Like where were the original? I know it's a paradox, but like say it was like. Pete gets bitten by Spider, and then some events lead it to the point where you get to kind of where we were at the end in episode 10, and then somehow they've got it to a point where Doctor Strange goes through that portal, and then that's the new way that Pete gets bit by the spider, and then that sends you into like this weird grandfathery paradox time loop thing. Where would the original spider have come from if it never came from?
But do we know that he was ever going to get bitten though?
This is like another like Into the Spider-Verse thing. Yeah. Green Goblin's an interesting character. The switch up on the line with great power comes with respect.
That's what I really wanted to talk about last week.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Because you're just like, oh, this is cool. They're giving him that line. Yeah. And then he switches it and you're like,
oh no, don't tell Matt.
No. Oh no, Peter. Yeah. Norman Osborn, I think maybe MVP. I kind of thought it was going to be Lonnie, and they kind of, I don't know, I didn't enjoy his stuff necessarily towards the back. Norman Osborn is so interesting in this. Like, he's not just like, I'm evil for evil's sake.
And he's also like, you like him like in the earlier episodes.
Yeah.
And even at the end of the season, like, kind of still do. Like, Peter's like, oh, like, I almost went too far, and he's like, but you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. I thought he was going to go evil and go like, well, you should have.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed him. Please cast Coleman Domingo in the MCU. I'm now like fully sold on him as Norman Osborn.
Are we doing the thing where there's like a Oscorp in the MCU?
Who knows? It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I loved all his stuff. His stuff being like more like shady and secretive, and you don't really know his motives for stuff. And I liked his whole thing of like, I knew one of you was Spider-Man because you were all smart, but also I got you all here because I knew you could build this fucking thing for me. Like, brilliant.
Yeah, when it all comes together at the end. This is why you're working on this and you're working on this. Yeah.
And obviously, as soon as we saw the Venom stuff, I was like, well, they're going to close the portal and cut off a little bit of Venom.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But that's interesting. Interesting to see where that goes. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that he was like, they wanted to synthesize the spider, which it worked because it bites Peter. And then we also, in that very first episode, we see that spider goes off onto some other kid's backpack. We don't see who that kid is.
Oh, the spider normally dies though.
Yeah. It stays alive.
Interesting.
Because it scurries off. So somebody else has abilities. And I thought they were alluding to a not Spider-Verse, but like a multiple Spider-Man kind of thing. going forward, where like you get Silk or Spider Woman because they want to synthesize more spiders.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see if that's the route they go down as well.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to make like a spider army.
Yeah.
They did announce Gwen for season 2.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I know that they've greenlit seasons 2 and 3, which is great. Slight issue I had with the show was just how it ended. I was like, I get what you're doing, being like, here's where all these characters are, and we're setting up stories for the future. But there was so many that I was like, complete some of them in this first season, make this first season longer or something. Like, you've set up such interesting stories that I want to see them.
I quite liked it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Because it did feel like a very like introductory season.
I think that works when TV is like put out faster.
Well, I'm hoping that they have
This
like,
that we don't know
every year.
Yeah.
What if shows up? What's his name?
Iwatu, the
something
Watcher.
Like
I do like that.
I saw a screen cap like is in X-Men 97.
Oh, sure.
So that's cool because obviously I've not seen X-Men 97. And then my prediction was that at the end of Avengers Doomsday, we're just gonna have him like hanging over. I feel like they're gonna be like screwed, and then he's gonna be like, "I will save you guys."
Captain Carter.
Yeah, launches her.
Where's that bird crossed with a human?
He just launches like 5 Captain Carters.
Jesus. Yeah, I would recommend this though if you are listening to this and haven't watched it. I think it's a solid watch. If I was to like place it within the MCU, I think it's like mid top tier kind of stuff.
Cool.
It's
a really easy watch.
It's such an easy watch. That's the nice thing about it. And actually, I really liked Nico's story. I think I alluded to this last week, but like, I guess it really was in that third arc. But like it's the classic story of like, oh, you didn't tell me anything. So like feeling isolated. But like, they really isolated her as a character and then introduced Harry as this like other person to like rub up against that I thought was really interesting. Because their dynamic's not like a normal friendship dynamic, I guess.
Yes, haters to lovers.
Haters to lovers, yeah. That's
Do
it.
you think there's something there?
No. There is. There absolutely is. It's where they're going. And then Pete will be like, oh, I'll be left behind. And that's what turns them evil.
Yeah, that's what turns Pete evil. Oh my god, we've got this figured out.
Wow. Marvel, call us up.
Actually, to be fair, like, he almost went too far already. And Venom's already here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, who's going to stop him, though, if he ends up with Iron Man?
Yeah. Iron Man cameo. Actual cameo.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of Daredevil. That'd be fun.
Me too. I want to see him get mentored by Daredevil.
That'd be
It's
cool.
what I wanted in the MCU, and we just never got it. And now we're getting I think Spider-Man 4 is like a multiverse movie. I don't think we're getting
That's
street
so
level
upsetting.
Spider-Man like ever in the films now. So yeah, it's nice having this cartoon to experience that.
Totally.
Shall we do our question?
Shall we?
Right. Let me reveal it.
We have a question, as always, and it's hidden so Owen doesn't know what it is.
What's a film you were annoyed, gutted that you didn't watch sooner than you did, wish you had seen earlier in life than you did?
Ooh. Huh. That's really interesting.
Yeah, like, what? It's a great question, but do I have anything
Something
that
I wish I
missed
saw
out on?
earlier. Yeah, that's. I don't know, because then I'm now trying to think of films that I'm like, oh, that would have worked better at that age. Like, I guess more like teen-focused movies.
Oh man, like,
But I'm not entirely sure.
what if you're annoyed,
actually.
gutted that you didn't watch sooner than you did, wish you had seen earlier in life than you did?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gutted that I miss things in the cinema all the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think that can be compared to like earlier in life. Had you wished you'd seen this earlier in life?
I weirdly don't think I have like anything.
that you felt like you missed out on? I don't think I do either.
No, because I feel like weirdly films like will
Transcend that.
come to me when I need them, or like the things that you draw from films are stuff that you need at the time.
Yeah.
Like there are movies I can think of that I've watched at different periods. I'll bring this up again. I think I brought this up last week, but Francis Ha I'll watch every now and again, and I take away different things from that. So like I understand that kind of aspect of it. Such an interesting question. Oh, maybe Juno. I watched Juno very recently.
And you wish you'd seen that like way earlier.
Maybe it's more like it's something I probably would have enjoyed. I know I would have enjoyed when I was younger. I guess that's a really odd question, because I think often as well when you pick, unless it's a new release, when you pick to watch a movie, you kind of pick it because you're in the mood for it, or like you want to watch it now.
Yeah, I think I do have an answer for this.
Oh, interesting.
Parasite, I took years to watch.
Oh,
and
really?
It's because of the absolute hype around it.
Fair.
It's a really beloved film, and for that reason, I just kept putting it off. And I do wish that I'd seen it earlier, just so that I was both felt what everyone else was feeling, because I do really like that film, but I do not love it as much as other people do. And I think part of that is like sometimes you're in it with other people when something like gets released, and I wasn't there for that.
Huh. That's interesting. This is I mean, Booksmart. I was annoyed I missed in the cinema.
But how long? How long?
I think I missed it by a few years. Like people were like, "Oh, this is really good," and I just don't know why I didn't see it. And it is one of my favorite movies. I really enjoy it.
Hamilton's another answer for me, because
Interesting.
specifically because our friend group was talking about it like so much.
We were
like, and I was like, how has everyone seen this? And then I think people were like, oh, you watch it on Disney Plus. And then so I did go away and watch it, but at that point, like the conversation had moved on. Like it was like another one of those things that I just like missed out on, because like I just wasn't there at the time.
I love that your answer to this is because you've missed out on conversation.
Yeah, it's literally all it is, because then I get to a point, and then it's like stuff's like no longer relevant or whatever, like people don't want to talk about it anymore, or it's not like as fresh in their minds, so that they don't have as much to say about it. So that's always a bit frustrating.
Those are kind of my. I don't think I'm gonna have a better answer, to be honest. Than that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all my answers are just like,
I missed out on speaking.
yeah, like cultural significance of things. Pop cultural significance of things.
Whereas, yeah.
Whereas you see everything that comes out.
I have a problem. And with that, that was episode 9 of Plot to Go. Thanks so much for listening.
Go follow us.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Command.
Yeah.
Yeah, please do. That all helps. Likes, subscribes.
Follow, rate.
We have social feeds.
Yeah.
Which are
We're on the social medias.
We do a little social media.
Yeah. We do some of the tic-tac-toes.
Next week. What?
TikTok.
Oh. Tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
A winner.
Yeah.
Next week we are talking. We have a review for The Last Showgirl, which we got to see a little bit early.
Yep.
That'll be in that episode. And we will just be talking about our thoughts on the Oscars.
Yay.
So it will be, Oscars are, if you're in the UK, Monday morning. If you're in the US, Sunday night.
So I will be watching them Monday evening, probably.
And we will have that episode to you on Wednesday. As a fun reaction to it.
Awesome.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.